Now, welcome back to another video here at The Growing Pro. My name is Adam. Everyone calls me Coach Hardgains. That's the name of my coaching platform. I've actually been coaching bodybuilding and current and recovering drug addiction for 27 years. But I've been in the entertainment industry for over 20 years, actually since the age of 8, technically, if you include when I began my modeling career. But I began photography 22 years ago, and I began videography seriously about 20 years ago. Now, fortunately, because of my endeavors and because of my successes, I don't like to use the word failures, but through the process of my learning experiences that helped me grow, I have been able to get to a point where I can play with the gear that I want to play with. And I love gear, whether it's my guitars and amps or whether it's cameras and lenses, but I especially love audio equipment. Because in the music industry, I went from being a performing artist to a sound engineer and a producer. And so obviously, sound was at the heart of all of that. But when I began my career, I began on my own. And I know what it's like to be a struggling creator, a struggling beginner, a newbie, to just be starting to learn the craft. So hopefully, some of the information we bring today will get you to a point where you can get high quality audio at a lesser price than some of the other options. Now, today we're recording with the GH5. The GH5 is a great camera, even in 2025, and it flows with my life. Now, audio. I will kind of give you a disclaimer today. We are using the Go XLR mics by TC Helicon. I'm not completely 100% sold on these mics. I like them, but don't love them because you will notice that certain pops do pop through the pop filter, which is a metal mesh screen. You can adjust the metal screen to be further or closer away from the mic, but it is not a windscreen. So there is obviously a reason why certain mics have windscreens. But for a pop filter, this is, I'd say, about 90% good, 10% it does allow pops to come through. You will notice throughout this recording. But today we're going to give you a direct comparison with the Panasonic XLR adapter, the XLR-1, with the Saramonic audio adapter kit. Now, I currently have that on my GH6, but we're not going to be using it on the GH6. We're going to do direct swaps with this microphone, as well as a condenser shotgun mic with 48-volt phantom power with the Saramonic and the XLR-1. So let's get to it. I mean, you've already got enough of a sample right now. This is the Go XLR by TC Helicon. Going directly through the XLR-1. Obviously, no 48-volt phantom power. We are set at 0. So there's no drop or raise in decibel levels. We are set at 0. This is the quality of the podcast microphone coming through the Panasonic XLR-1. Now we are switching over to a 48-volt phantom power shotgun condenser microphone. Let me bring it in screen here. So let's actually let it sit right there so you can see it. This is the Audio Technica AT897. These happen to be one of my all-time favorite shotgun condenser microphones. I've used many Audio Technica shotgun condenser mics over the years, and these happen to be one of my favorites. This is set flat. There is no low cut bypass on the mic. I have the microphone about 6 inches away from my mouth right now currently. This is the sound that's coming out of the XLR-1 Panasonic adapter. We have 48-volt phantom power on right now. Now let's get it out of the frame. Still pointing to my upper chest, which is where you ideally want your shotgun condenser mics to be pointing. Mic is now just out of frame right there. And this is the sound of the Audio Technica AT897 shotgun condenser microphone through the Panasonic XLR-1 module. So next we're going to switch over to the Saramonic XLR adapter without the Saramonic mic first. Let's use these two microphones first. Then we're going to throw in the Saramonic microphone because I've heard a lot of mixed things about it and it's not all good. In fact, most of it is kind of negative, but I've never used it or experienced it myself, and I don't trust many other people's opinions. There you go. So let's swap over to the Saramonic XLR adapter. I'm mostly interested to see how the preamps are in that because the preamps in the Panasonic XLR-1 are really great. I live in an 1880s farmhouse, and there is a ton of noise, whether it's ambient noise outside, whether it's my air filtration system going in the basement, my dehumidifier system going in the basement, but there's a ton of ambient noise in my home. And it's the preamp's job to cut out all of those additional noises, the hums and the hisses and all of the buzzes that you might hear in a low-end preamp. But if you notice, there's very little of that. And that is why I love the Panasonic XLR-1. You also want a good shotgun condenser microphone that can take noise from different angles, and that again depends on the cardioid pattern, which we'll get into in a later video. But that is one reason why I love the Audio-Technica AT897. So let's swap over. All right, so now we have increased the decibel level just a little bit. We are set to 6.5. We're recording, it looks like we're in stereo now. I switched over the switch on the Saramonic from channel 1 down to the channel 1/channel 2. So it should be coming in stereo. Podcast mic is about 3 inches away from my mouth. This is the sound coming out of it. I'm curious to hear the quality of these preamps. I'll also remind you that the Saramonic is not powered by the camera like the Panasonic XLR is. This is powered by a 9-volt battery, and it goes through the 8-inch TRS jack on the GH5. So again, now we're going through the audio jack rather than just being self-powered by the camera. So this is the quality of the Go XLR mic through the Saramonic, through the GH5 directly. And I'll also add in now that I'm not going to do any post-processing to any of this audio. This is exactly how it sounds. No post-processing. So let's switch over to the shotgun condenser mic. Let's get on 48-volt phantom power. And let's see if we hear any additional ambient noise, any hisses, any buzzes, or any unwanted noise. All right, check, 1, 2. Let's do the same thing. Let's bring the Audio-Technica AT897 right into frame so you can see it. This is the sound of the Saramonic audio XLR adapter. With 48-volt phantom powered, we are at 5. We're right in the middle of the gain knob. No additional or subtracted decibels. This is direct, and this is the sound of the ambient noise. Now let's take it out of frame, just as we did before. So mic is now just out of frame. And this is the sound quality of the preamps in the Saramonic XLR adapter. Now to finalize this test, what I do want to do is add in the actual Saramonic microphone and see what that sounds like in an array of positions. Because I will say that the overall feedback of this microphone has not been that great, which I imagine for a $300 kit, I believe this Saramonic kit goes for $299 brand new. Let me check that real quick. Well, I mean, I'll tell you right now, these kits, the Saramonic XLR adapter kit, like as a full kit, is getting near impossible to find. You can find them. I found mine on eBay, and it did take me a long time to find it. It's called the MixMic adapter. The microphone is the SRNV5. But then again, after this test, if the quality isn't any good, I certainly don't want to recommend it to any of you anyway. But let's see if there's any on eBay right now. Currently, when I found this one, there were no other full kits available. Okay, on eBay right now, there's currently another open box kit, which is what I purchased in the US for $200 or best offer with a $12.63 shipping fee. There's another one. There's one more that's brand new for $219. So if the kit is pretty good, if it sounds good for $219, now I did get mine for less than that. I mean, I got mine for a killer deal. It was an open box sitting on a shelf somewhere in the middle of the US, just collecting dust. I got mine for $103 for the whole kit, and it's not missing any parts. So if you keep an eye out for it, I'm sure you can find a decent one for a decent price. But let's see what they sound like first. So again, this is the Audio-Technica AT897 shotgun condenser mic, which is a very, very good mic, and there's a lot about this mic that I love. So lastly, let's throw on this Saramonic mic and let's see how this sounds. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the Saramonic and put it overhead, replace the Audio Technica with this. But now, word of advice, you do not want to hot swap anything that is using 48 volt phantom power. You can affect the ribbons in these shotgun condenser microphones. So you want to cut your power, turn off everything, and then swap it, and then follow the same process you would as if you're starting back up again. So we're going to follow that process and swap out microphones, and let's see how it sounds. All right, check, check. Wow, that is hot. That mic is not even in frame, and it is hot. Okay, so hold on. Let's show the mic. We've got the Saramonic shotgun condenser. We've got the little... Now, this is meant to be an onboard mic on your camera. But again, it should also double duty as an overhead just fine. So this is the Saramonic, and if you notice, I have the mic pointing right at my upper chest, which is really where you want the mic. You don't want the mic up at the speaker's face or directly at their mouth. You want the mic pointed to the upper chest area, which is where the majority of the fullness of a sound will come from. So this is pretty hot. Let me lower this gain and see, because I think we might be risking clipping. Let me lower this gain a little bit. All right, gain is lowered. Wow, that's still hot. Wow, that is really hot. And to be fair, I do keep wind muffs on my AT897s, the foam muffs. So let's throw this foam muff on the Saramonic. So it is an apples to apples test because it does cut out a little bit of the sound. So again, here is the quality of the Saramonic microphone, the whoa, geez, what is it again? SRNV5, the Saramonic SRNV5 as an overhead mic. Now let's get it out of frame. This is where our shotgun condenser overhead mic would be. So this is the sound of the Saramonic going through the Saramonic audio XLR adapter directly through the stereo mic input of the GH5. Again, no post-processing. This is what it sounds like. Now let's throw this mic in through the Panasonic XLR-1 and let's see how that sounds, because that will be another example of the quality of the preamps that are actually in these audio adapters. But first, let's take a moment of silence. Let's see if it's picking up any of the ambient noise around my home. I don't see any type of gain on my monitor. So let's swap them out now. Now lastly, this is the Saramonic SRNV5 going through the Panasonic XLR-1. There's the microphone right in frame. And if you notice, this microphone picks up a lot more ambient noise. The cardioid pattern of this microphone is obviously much larger than that of an AT897, which is a little more direct. But again, this is meant to be an onboard mic sitting on your camera, and so technically in those circumstances, you're attempting to pick up a little bit more of the surrounding noises. So this is not a microphone designed necessarily for talking head work like this, or maybe for shotgun work. I will say, after hearing a little bit of the playback, it does offer a unique sound. It's much fuller. It's obviously much more inclusive than the directional noise inclusions of something like the Audio Technica. Now, there are versions of Audio Technica shotgun mics. I just wanted to hear if it would pick up a car just went by. There are other versions of the Audio Technica shotgun mics and every other brand and manufacturer that make more of an open or more inclusive polar pattern microphone. So this microphone is meant to pick up a little bit more noise. So I think overall, it's not a bad kit. For the money that you can get this for now, the Saramonic audio adapter kit, I picked it up, I think, like I said, $110 or something like that, $109. For this kit, this is a great option for someone who doesn't have the money to go out and buy the XLR-1 or the XLR-2. this is a good option. I'd say it offers a lot. You get 2 XLR inputs, both with 48 volt phantom power. You have a mic included. You have a windscreen included. You have a dead cat included. You have the shotgun mount included. You have a short XLR cable included. Everything is included. Yes, it runs off a 9 volt battery, but again, keep a giant bag of rechargeable 9 volts with you and it's not a problem. So frankly, after listening to some of the playback for the money, I think Saramonic makes a pretty decent kit here. No, it's not the same quality as the Panasonic XLR-1, but a lot of that is going to depend on the type of microphone that you're using with it. For instance, when using our podcast microphone, there is a lot more noise. You know, podcast mics are noisier mics to start with. Something like the Rode is going to require a different amount of power than even the Go XLR. And they're going to sound slightly different, and they're going to pick up different ambient noises. So friends, I hope that some of this information has been helpful to you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Our main channel, which you can find here, has nearly 4 million channel views, and we're hoping that we can provide enough value to you out there where this channel will soon become just like that one. All right, friends, I'll catch you next video.